Lego Video Game 2, or the Lego Movie 2, the video game walkthrough. This will be the final part. I think we're at part 9 or 10 or so, and this is the 7th and final short level. This is the ceremony, and I also should mention this game was provided to me for free by Warner Brothers. I thank them so much for that. And here we're actually going to, spoiler alert, unlock Batman. So if you noticed in previous videos and levels, we saw a couple of grapple points that we couldn't do anything with yet, but Batman does in fact have a grapple gun, so that's going to be pretty useful here. So being the final level, this also has a pretty cool boss fight. I think this does have the coolest boss fight at the end, and I'm not going to talk at any point during that. I'm also going to leave a very disappointing cliffhanger because there's going to be music, and I don't want to get copyright hit, so I have to cut that out. I am sorry for that. I have a link in the description where you can buy the game if you want to. Also, remember, as I'm required by law now to say, that if I tell you to buy the game, I was given this game for free by Warner Brothers, but it's a Steam link, it's not an affiliate link or anything, just take a look at it, see if maybe it's worth it to you. Steam usually has very, very good sales, so I'm sure eventually this game will be pretty cheap. If it's $40 right now, that's usually what LEGO games are. I would not pay that much, I'd pay like 5 or 20, you know, even if you're a LEGO fan, 20 is okay, but still, it's just... The other day they had Witcher for sale for like, Witcher 2 was on sale I think for like $3 and Witcher 1 was $2, and those are way better value than this game is, by far. So we have to work our way up to the ceremony, and that's going to be a little bit challenging. If you notice though, actually it's not challenging at all, it's just going to be a little bit lengthy, but if you also notice, we only need 10 of those Master Builder bricks, so that is kind of back to the first level. It's kind of interesting to me how they needed pretty much one more brick per level up until this one where you just need 10. And you technically don't even really need it because all it does is let you get out of this world. But if you beat the game and you decide you're done with it, you don't have to leave. You get all your achievements at the end of the level when you're done with the boss. You don't have to worry about leaving the world for it to like unlock or anything like that. Anyway, so to deal with these platforms, we're going to have to mash that button on the left there, and we see the colors on top change, and as we push them, different platforms lower, and if it's kind of a half and half, then different platforms are going to raise up. So what we're going to want to do is just follow the order that I have here to where we can get the front and the middle one up, and then once we get the red and blue half and half button, we should be able to push it and get all of them down. And then we can run on over toward the other side. There's going to be a couple of tool cases that have tools that we're not going to be using in this level, to my knowledge, in them. And we can also see the big, cool swirling vortex. Like this, they did a really good job with the level design. And this kind of reminds me of, this particular level reminds me of the final level of Balance. But that game is such an obscure game. I don't know how many people have played it, and if you were born after the year 2000, you've probably never heard of it, and that's... I don't know, it's just... It's a fun game. I wish I knew who made Balance so I could ask them to make another one, because I loved it. Anyway, whatever. So here's Batman, he's all kind of... looks like an owl, I guess. He's going to give us a grapple gun, and then I think, yep, we can finally play as Batman. He has some pretty cool shoulder guards, and the grapple is going to give us the power to get pretty much anywhere we want. There are going to be a lot of Master Builder bricks that we can not really access, but we can now, and I still say that it's probably more efficient to wait until the very end of this level before you start really going crazy for collectibles. The grapple hook does help a lot when it comes to accessibility because we really aren't going to need the, the bouncer anymore for anything. We just use the grapple hook. But there's something at the end of this level that helps us out way, way more than even the grapple hook does. So now we can grapple onto anything we want, and I am trying to decide, is it worth going up there? No, I don't think it is. I decide against it. And we're going to head on over here, destroy this chest if we want to. And there's a sparking generator we're going to want to power up. Actually, I don't even think we need to power this thing up, but I do anyway. And then we're going to want to switch to the grapple gun, hook it on over toward that bridge, yank it down, and then we can jump on over. So on this side, there's going to be a lot of platforms that are going to completely require the grapple hook. There's also going to be I think there's hard to tell. Yep, there is. And we'll just want to bust that open. You should probably get 4 or 5 of them just from doing the quests in this level, so make sure to collect at least 5 on your own. And then once we get over here, we'll want to work our way across by grappling onto the different platforms and jumping over. Now, did I mention already? Yeah, I think I mentioned already the end of this video is going to have a cliffhanger. Sorry about that. Anyway, once we get to this part, just blow up the chest if you want to. I mean, the quest marker is a little bit misleading because it makes it look like you need to do something when you get there, but it's just kind of walk there and here you are. If we take a look on our right side, we can see there's another brick, and if you time your double jump correctly, which I did not do there, you should be able to jump on down to that platform without having to grapple. So you just have to double jump a little bit earlier than I did the first time. It seems that there's a minor time limit for when you can double jump, and then we should be able to get on top of that no problem. This grapple hook is not perfect. We can clearly see that I aimed where I wanted it to grapple, but for some reason it hooked to the part beneath it, so I tried again and that worked. And once we get up to this platform, we should be able to grapple onto that rod there. Yes, we can, and up we go. This level is a little bit longer than I thought. I wonder if I should have cut it in half. Anyway, kind of a lot of cool spaceships here. There's a couple of enemies. The heart guys, they don't really attack us very much. I kind of thought that that one would, but it doesn't really care too much. So we're just going to ignore it, let it be, and work our way over toward the entrance. And then we can, this will allow us to get on top of the ceremony here. And that's going to be kind of a gondola looking thing. Wow, I do not have my words today, do I? Okay, it's the final video, first take, we'll just go with it. It's going to be the gondola looking thing with the princess looking woman down here, and we'll want to switch to Batman because she has high tastes and only likes to talk to heroes. And then she'll need a generator, which is kind of interesting that she has to tell us to build a generator. We could have figured that out on our own, but hey, we will make the lady happy. And that will open up a button that we're then going to push. And now we're going to have to do a kind of fun little mini thing. We need to get the electrical current from the left side to the right side. And we'll want to do that by dropping the, I don't even know what to call them, connectors up and down on this current so the ball of electricity can flow all the way to the end. And once that is done, it's not really too difficult because it goes pretty slowly. Then that will power up the second generator. And that will allow the gondola to come on down and let us climb up on top. Well, I guess we're not climbing anything, we're going to be riding up there. So move on over toward that platform and then push the button when you are ready.
This lift will take you.
Again, we're just going to be getting a bunch of those master builder bricks, so no really big deal if you're a little bit short. Push the button and up we go. I kind of thought the princess was going to be coming with us, but I guess not. And then once we are up here, we'll be walking on over into the room. And there's going to be a couple of laser beams on the walls that we will need to direct toward that focus crystal in the middle. So 2 of them will be using the grapple hook, and 1 of them will be needing the doom fists to break it free. So for this one, just switch to the grapple gun, grapple onto it, pull it off, and I don't remember, do I go for this one next? I do. So then switch on over toward the danger fists. I keep calling them doom fists like I'm playing Overwatch, but you know what I mean. And then we'll be moving on this way toward the third and final one that we need to adjust, and use the grapple gun to aim it. Then talk to the weird ice cream thing to, I love all the ice cream cones in this game, to finish that little quest. And then the boss is coming up. General Mayhem is going to try to stop us. And again, the game is not very clear as to why this is happening. All is explained. I do keep that much inside of this video, but I do regrettably cut out the part that I'm afraid might get copyright hit if I were to upload this video without it. The other thing I could do is mute it, but I think that would be even worse. So I'm just going to cut it out and that's going to be the end of the video once that time does come. So this is the coolest boss fight, mostly because you got cool music, cool graphics. The boss is going to attack you every now and then, and we just have to grapple our way on up here. We can do this as Batman, which I think looks the coolest because he is the best hero, right? Again, this is the easiest platforming game in history, and yet I still fall off the platforms. Anyway, you could do this as Wild Style or anybody else you want to switch to. We're going to do it as Batman, and I think I'm going to call it the end for this video, and that will also be the end of this walkthrough. The rest is pretty straightforward. Thank you for watching this walkthrough. I'm going to figure out what game I'm going to record next. Maybe Tropical Freeze, I'll continue with that, and then possibly Heavenly Sword. That's a pretty older game. Haven't played it in a couple of years. I kind of want to play it again. That game has really cool cutscenes too. Anyway, that'll be it for my walkthrough for LEGO Videogame 2. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.
I suppose I can't stop you. Just promise me you'll think about what you're doing before you disable that force. General Mayhem sure had some advanced tech. Like, for example, using her tractor beam, we could lift a jetpack, now we're talking. Using this, we should be able to get around the world much more quickly and funly. Okay, hold it there. So this is where it gets weird. All wrapped up, right? Defeated the villain, saved the people? Wrong.
Why don't you like us? We just wanted to play with you.
The people were not happy. We soon realized that the Queen wasn't evil after all. She just had a thing for Batman. I mean, don't get me wrong, that girl has some serious communication issues. But all she wanted was peace and harmony. And Batman. But she had absolutely no evil agenda. Turns out Rex was the bad guy. I know, right? All that machismo, please. Rex was actually Emmett, but from an alternate universe. Like a version of Emmett that traveled down a different timeline. So, in Rex's version, Emmett crashed into a giant asteroid and ended up stranded on the planet Undar of the Dryar system. That boy turned bitter. He was forgotten, lost, forced to watch others play without him, all that time festering away amongst the dirt. He spent weeks trying to get back on his feet, which, over time, he managed to do. In fact, he built a time machine and filled it with dinosaurs. Emmett changed his name to Rex and traveled back in time. His plan was to save his past self and turn Emmett into the kind of tough guy he wished he could have been. Well, lucky for you, I was around to save the day. I knew what I had to do.